Hello everybody, I'm here today to inform you about softball bats and how effective they are when it comes to playing softball. My name's Peyton Lowe and I know most about softball bats because I play the sport and I've been playing it since I was about 4 years old. So the first thing I want to discuss is how the weight in ounces are different on a bat. So when it comes to the inches on your bat, you can have about a 30-inch bat, a 31, a 32, a 33, and a 34. Most people my age have 32s and 33s depending upon your height and your weight and whatever works best for you when you're swinging your bat. Well, I use a 32. The way you can tell whether the bat works for you or not is if you stand in a T motion like this and you can see if the bat will weigh your arm down. If the bat's weighing your arm down, that means that the bat is way too big for you. So sometimes I can use a 33, but other times I can't. I also want to talk about the ounces. So say you have a 32-inch bat, your ounces are always 10 less. So if I have a 32-inch bat, the ounces are going to be 22. So also, depending on your inches, you need to be able to hold the bat. So if it's too heavy, then you need to go down in your inches. I also want to talk about end-loaded bats and regular bats. So an end-loaded bat is going to be much heavier than a regular bat. End-loaded bats, most of their weight is on the end of the bat, obviously, it comes from the name, but the weight is more shifted towards the end of the barrel rather than the center of the barrel. And the ball will go a lot farther whenever it makes contact with a softball. So for me, I have an end-loaded bat. Most softball people, in fast pitch, want end-loaded bats because it's quicker to get around. Although it's kind of heavier than a regular bat, it makes such better contact, and obviously you're going to win a game if you're making better contact. But most people prefer regular bats because end-loaded bats are heavier and they're more difficult to work with. Now I want to talk about the length of bats. Depending upon what sport you're playing, like slow pitch, fast pitch, most fast pitch players are going to have a 32-inch bat. Me, I have a 32 like I have said previously, but if you have a 32-inch bat, it's going to be able to help you make your contact much easier. I would say that the most effective bats would be your end-loaded bats, depending upon what sport you're playing. So with slow pitch, you're going to want to use a bat that works for the younger girls. Most, obviously, younger girls are going to be playing slow pitch softball. So most of them will have a 31-inch bat. So I want to say that bats are very different compared to what they had back in the day. So most people would have a wooden bat, but now we have bats made out of aluminum and all kinds of different stuff now. Well, with a softball bat, they're different than baseball bats. Baseball bats are much rounder on the end of the barrel. Softball bats are very long and skinny. With me, softball bats are very important because that's how you're going to win your game. I know fielding's important as well, but with a softball bat, it's much more easy to get the runs that you need constantly. So depending upon if you're going to be bunting or what you're going to be doing, that's how you're going to choose between an end-loaded bat and a regular bat. But most of the bats that are made nowadays are going to be end-loaded because that's the most popular bat for now, but I'm sure it's going to change in the future. So my point here is that softball bats are very effective when it comes to softball. Depending on the weight, the ounces, whether it's end-loaded, whether it's not, there's several differences between all of them. I know it's difficult to decide whether or not what bat you want, when you want it, and all this kind of stuff. But when it comes to fast pitch, you need to pick something that's going to work for you whenever you stand in a T motion and it's not going to drag your arm down because you want to be able to swing the bat around. You also want to choose something that's going to get you your hits. So if you have an end-loaded bat and you know you can't swing the bat, it's not worth the price. Just make sure that whenever it comes to softball that you're constantly making sure that you have the bat that you need. The bat is most important as long as your glove, but you also need to worry about your bat. So today my speech is about softball bats and how effective they are when it comes to softball. I hope you learned something from this speech because I have learned a lot throughout the years with softball.